Trinh mời quý vị tiếp tục theo dõi chương trình câu chuyện kinh doanh kỳ này, và chúng tôi vẫn đang trò chuyện với vị khách mời hết sức đặc biệt, đó là ông Biole, là giám đốc điều hành của Trung tâm Đào tạo Khởi nghiệp MIT. Chúng tôi cũng vẫn đang trò chuyện về cuốn sách mà vừa mới được dịch sang tiếng Việt, có tựa đề là Kinh điển về khởi nghiệp, 21 bước khởi sự kinh doanh thành công. Welcome back to the show, Bill. Well, you know that the majority of Vietnamese, a lot of us have the entrepreneurial spirit, but
Yes.
we don't know a lot of technology know-how. So oftenly we choose smaller business options, like we open a daycare center or a cleaning service.
Right.
So it's defined as a low-tech startups, right?
Yes.
So in your opinion, what are the differences between a high-tech and a low-tech startup?
Well, today I don't speak so much about high tech and low tech. I speak about innovation driven. Do they have some sort of innovation? And innovation could be some fancy technology, or it could just be some kind of new process or kind of special soap. I was just in a hotel here, and they had very nice soap, exfoliating soap. Is that technology? And that could be something that could make the product very attractive, and I would call that innovation. The key thing here is if you just have one shop, which I agree with you, Vietnamese are very good at opening a small store. But the question is, how do you translate that, like with my students, to a company that employs hundreds, if not thousands of people? And you have to think, who's your customer at that point? And if your customer is just the people who in that local neighborhood, your company's not going to be that big if there's not something special about your product, if there's not some innovation. But if you do have some innovation, you could then sell that around to many different markets, and you could sell it to other countries. And that's the real difference, I think. It's not just technology, it could be technology, other things. But I think it's important to appreciate what you have. To have that spirit to go start a company is very, very important, because there's a lot of countries where they have lots of technology, but they don't have the entrepreneurial spirit. So you need both of them. You need to be able to have that entrepreneurial spirit, and then you have to also have good innovation to couple it with.
And of course, in real life, we have big startups, but at the same time, we also have small startups, right?
Yes.
So the companies that have only few number of employees and number of people, but they can even offer the markets very good products and that can help a lot of people too. So everyone knows about Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg,
Yes.
but not really, especially here in Vietnam, they rarely heard about someone like Fat DeLuca, who's the founder of Subway, because people think that if talking about startup, we must talk about technology, not something like a bread or like a noodle shop, right? So just quickly, can you tell us a very famous example or a famous entrepreneur that is very successful in a so-called low-tech startup?
Yes. So I have a number of my students do things, as you said. It's not just Bill Gates who writes software, Mark Zuckerberg does that.
Yeah.
I have people who one's doing Bali X, a kind of way to dance from India. And he said, I really love to dance. And this could be something that could help other people to be very fit. And so he has what he calls Bali X, a company that teaches people how to stay fit by dancing. There's another company called Zumba who does that as well. He's a giver. But that's his business. It doesn't have to be a technology business in that regard. I have another one it's called Armoire, and it's a fashion business that helps women, because women spend so much time shopping in the United States, and then they buy clothes, and then they only use a small fraction of the clothes that are in their closet. This doesn't make sense. What if there was a model whereby they could just get clothes that they wanted, use them, send them back, and then get new clothes? So basically a closet as a service type of thing. And these are examples of companies that could be very successful companies that aren't based on heavy technology. Now, we also love heavy technology. We're from MIT, and what you see today is companies have both technology. If you look at Uber, it's a technology company, but it's a very simple thing of getting a cab. So, and I like the one you just mentioned, Subway, a great example. I mean, they're doing very well.
Yeah.
They're bringing a high quality product to many different people. Now, that's a very simple idea. How you execute that and what makes you better than other people, that's the question, that's the riddle.
And just to continue that question, because many, entrepreneurs in Vietnam, if say for someone wants to start a dog walking business,
Yeah.
Or a daycare service,
Right.
what can they learn from your theory?
So when you go through the book, we go through 24 steps. You have to first know who your customer is and know that you're producing a product that they want. But then you have to know, am I making something that's unique in the marketplace that's not easy for somebody else to copy? So often you'll see here in Vietnam, someone sets up we just saw it on the way in here, someone sets up a sunglasses store. Then right next to it, somebody else sets up a sunglasses store. Now, how different are the products? They're not really different at all. And is the service that different? Is there much different? So then they'll get into a situation where they'll just price it a little cheaper. This is not an innovation-driven business. The point of the book is to say, figure out something that makes you unique, that gives you're creating value for people that they couldn't get otherwise. And that could be in not just a unique product, but in service, in the way you deliver it, in how you have the customer pay for it. You know, Blockbuster rented videos. Before Blockbuster, people just sold the videos. And all that Blockbuster did is they rented the videos as opposed to having them sell it. So this is what we call a business model innovation. So there's many ways you can innovate, not just by making better technology.
Well, that's true, and all in all, because many experts say that the ultimate purpose of a startup is finding an invention or a product that can helps a lot of people, that can bring values to their lives and even can change the world.
Yes.
So money is not really a ultimate purpose or final destination of those entrepreneurs.
Right.
So for the smaller business owners, do you think that we should start thinking in that way so that it can make their business more successful rather than money?
Yes. So I think, I've been a successful entrepreneur, I've been an unsuccessful entrepreneur. When I was less successful, I was just thinking about it as a financial transaction. When I did better, I started thinking about, what am I trying to do here? How am I trying to make the world better? What am I doing something else? Wow. Then when you have that bigger cause, all of a sudden, your business becomes so much more meaningful and you become so much more successful. And the irony of it is, by doing that, you end up making more money than you do the other way. But most great entrepreneurs will tell you they didn't do it for the money. And you did it because you just had to do it, and you felt that this was something that the market needed.
If you could give an advice to Vietnamese, especially to young entrepreneurs in Vietnam, what would you say?
Yeah, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with making money. Let's be clear about that.
Yes.
We believe that that's a good thing, and it shows that customers like what you're doing. I think the advice that I would give to customers is, you have to do something that you're passionate about. That even if it doesn't succeed, you're still proud to tell people, this is what I tried to do. You're proud to tell your parents, this is what I tried to do. So do something that gets you motivated to get up in the morning to go to work. And after that, the finances will take care of themselves. And by the way, I have a lot of people who use this methodology, and they are not making lots of money by choice. They're empowering women in Africa to not be dependent on their husbands, to have some level of independence. We have people who are bringing technology to the bottom of the pyramid in India, where they wouldn't get solar coolers to keep their milk from spoiling. We have people who are reducing carbon footprint in the United States, solving diseases. That's the benefit to them. They feel very good about that. And I think, look, you're a Confucian, Buddhist society, you would know there's more to life than just the material things. And sometimes those other things are much more rewarding to people. And entrepreneurship is an opportunity for you to realize those goals. There's two things that my students and I did when I first started. They spend too much time worrying about investors, and they spend too much time worrying about the competitors. If you have something that's good, go out and get the customers to buy it. Get them to use it. Make your product better and better, and think about what is it that I uniquely do for my customer that other people won't do. But by spending your time watching the competitors and watching for investors, you're wasting energy that you could spend in a more productive way.
Well, it's so interesting, Bill, because what you've been saying is so right, and I think that everyone here who would have interest in entrepreneurship would find you and meet you and talk to you about entrepreneurship. But do you think that it's normal because Vietnam is in a very first stage of finding out entrepreneurship and how it's all about?
Yeah.
And is it normal that we have to go through steps?
Yeah, this is a great question. And we were just having this discussion with my entrepreneurs in residence at our center right before I left to come over here. And one of them, Nick Meyer, said, entrepreneurship is a craft. It's not just something you can do easily. And I said, what do you mean by that, Nick? He said, because what you think you should do is not the right thing to do all the time. You have to figure out, you have to learn, like in a craft. You don't just do what you think is right, you learn what the right thing to do is. And a lot of times, what you think is normal to do in entrepreneurship isn't the right thing to do. And that's what I'm trying to do here. By the way, you said, well, geez, it sounds so easy. I didn't know all this stuff. I'm about to turn 60 soon, and I learned the hard way. I made so many mistakes that I figured out through those mistakes what the right way to do it was. And so I tried doing the normal thing, the obvious thing, and I found out a lot of times that wasn't the right thing. And that's what I'm trying to convey here in these steps. It's a discipline, it's a craft. You have to learn how to do it. It's just like playing sports. In soccer, sometimes you think the right thing to do is one thing, but then as soon as you study the game, you realize the exact opposite was the right thing to do.
Well, thank you very much, Bill, and we will take a very short break here and we'll return in a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thưa quý vị, xin quý vị tiếp tục giữ kênh để còn đến với phần tiếp theo của chương trình Câu chuyện Kinh doanh kỳ này.